You know, think back to playing soccer at recess. A win? Well, that just got you bragging rights for the rest of the day. It was simple. It was fun. But in the professional world, that simple game, it completely transforms into something else. We're talking about a high-stakes, high-finance global operation.
And let's just put a number on it to really let it sink in. A single win, just one win, in a major professional tournament can be worth a staggering $100 million. Yeah, you heard that right. So, how does a game with 22 people just chasing a ball around turn into such a massive industry?
Well, today we're going to go under the hood of what we're calling the soccer machine. And you have to think of it like this giant, complex global engine. And it's fueled by this really powerful mix of math, media, and marketing. So, how does this machine actually work? Well, it all starts with three absolutely giant gears that power the entire system. Let's break them down.
These are the core drivers of the whole thing: media rights, the transfer market, and the global brand. Now, each one of these is a huge industry all on its own, but when they work together, that's when they create something incredibly powerful. So let's look at each one.
All right, let's start with the biggest gear of them all, media rights. Just think about it for a second. Live sports are one of the very last things people have to watch as they're happening. You can't just binge it later. And that captive audience, it's an absolute goldmine for advertisers, which is exactly why networks and streaming services pay billions, literally billions of dollars for the rights to show these games.
Okay, on to the second gear, the transfer market. Honestly, the best way to think about this is like a stock market, but for athletes. Players are treated just like valuable assets. Teams invest in them, hoping their performance on the field will drive up the club's overall value by, securing those big wins. And the price for one of these top-tier assets, it can be absolutely astronomical. I mean, a team might pay over $200 million just to get a single star player from another club. It's this incredible investment, all riding on the belief that that one person can be the key to winning a championship. And the third gear? Well, that's all about how these teams have become massive global brands. We're not just talking about a local team anymore. We're talking about logos that are recognized all over the world. You've got them selling jerseys in Tokyo, hats in New York, apps in London. And that enormous international reach, that's exactly what sponsors are willing to pay millions and millions for.
Okay, so we've got our three gears. But how do they all connect? How do they turn together to make the machine run? That's where the engine comes in. We call it the multiplier effect, and it's basically how value gets supercharged inside the soccer machine.
I mean, really think about this question. How does something as simple as winning a soccer game translate into millions or even billions of dollars in value off the field? The answer is pretty cool. It's this powerful, self-reinforcing cycle.
It's what's known as a virtuous cycle. It all starts with winning games. When you win, you attract more fans. Pretty simple, right? More fans means more people watching on TV, which leads to higher ratings. Higher ratings mean the team can demand way more money from those media networks. And with all that extra money, well, they buy even better players to, you guessed it, win more games. It's this powerful loop that just turns on-field success into off-field treasure. The downside, though, is that it also creates these huge financial gaps, which makes it incredibly hard for smaller clubs to ever catch up.
Okay, so we get how the machine makes a ton of money, but so what? Why does any of this actually matter? Well, it matters because this machine doesn't just operate in some kind of bubble. It has a profound and very, very real impact on the world around all of us.
Let's look at three huge impacts here. First, infrastructure. Hosting a massive tournament like the World Cup can literally change a city's entire landscape with brand new stadiums, train systems, and hotels. Second, there's opportunity. The global reach of soccer means it can create a real pathway for talented kids from any background anywhere in the world to become global icons. And finally, there's this fascinating idea of soft power. When a nation's team does really well, it actually boosts that country's reputation on the world stage. Just think about how an underdog victory can completely reshape how the world sees an entire nation, almost overnight.
So as we take one final look under the hood here, it's so clear that what happens on the field is really just one part of a much bigger story. Soccer is a game of incredible skill, for sure, but it's also a game of systems, of finance, and of global strategy.
So, I'll leave you with this thought. The next time you see a spectacular goal, just remember what you're really watching. You're not just seeing an amazing athlete at the peak of their game. You're seeing the perfectly engineered output of a massive, complex, and incredibly powerful global machine.